Well, as I got into yoga, I realized all practices rely on breath, right? Martial arts, boxing, weightlifting. You know what I'm saying? Like everything pretty much goes to the breath. You talking about basketball. You at your free throw line, you gotta whap. You know what I'm saying? Swimming. Long distance running. Kind of creating your pace. Everything revolves around breath control and practice, but nobody emphasizes it besides yoga.
All right, so when did yoga come about? What intrigued you, or how did you become drawn to it in the first place?
So the first time I tried yoga, I was my early 20s, and I was I worked at Gold's Gym, bro. I used to work front desk at Gold's Gym. Shout out Silver Springs, Maryland.
Hey.
And working front desk, you had to explain the classes that were offered there. So you had to take the classes so you could explain the experience. And I had to take a yoga Pilates kind of class. And I hated it. It was absolute trash. I was like, yo, this is the most boring shit I've ever done in my life. This sucks. I'm never going to do this again. Fast forward like 7-8 years later, I remember, so basically I started to throw events. I was doing music. We were just like partying all the fucking time. And smoking like 8 blunts a day, like Swishers and fucking Garcia Vega type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's just the trashiest shit you could possibly smoke. But it's all the rappers smoke. So, you know, that's what we do. You go to 7-Eleven, you get your fucking Swishers and shit. But yeah, man, so I was smoking weed all day. Honestly, I was fucking popping ecstasy pills. I was fucking wilding this time. And bro,
What a good time. What a good time.
I ain't gonna lie. It was pretty fucking fun. I don't remember a lot of it.
You know, I would just like to know.
I pretty much think it was pretty awesome.
Has anyone ever had a conversation about how drugs are awesome?
With me?
Yeah.
Or just like in general?
Or in general, do you feel like you actually hear people talk about, I mean, drugs are awesome, but like the conversation about like, we never really hear certain narratives about like how dope drugs are.
How it's actually helped people.
Yeah.
No, for sure. Especially when you get into the world of psychedelics, but we could talk about that all day.
Okay.
But yeah, just how I got into yoga, bro. Basically, I was fucking doing too much, bro. We was going to Applebee's every day. At the time, I was like wilding, trapping, doing a bunch of stupid shit. And eating sliders and $2 Long Islands every night and 10 blunts a day diet. Like that was like my everyday, bro. And one day I woke up and I just could not breathe. Like it was like a like wheezing type of shit. And I'm like, oh, it'll pass. Maybe tomorrow. Whoop-de-whoop. Bro, like 3 days later, I'm still wheezing. Like literally going to bed sitting up. Like I'm sitting like how I'm sitting right now, like leaned up against the wall, just like it was bad. And at this point, I'm like, bro, fuck this. I'm going to the hospital, right? Like I gotta figure something out. Rewind, my degree that I kind of finessed. We're not going to talk about that because we're on camera. And shout out to everybody who helped me graduate. My degree was in health and fitness management. And, you know, so I've taken classes on like holistic health and wellness and all these things and how you can like heal the body naturally. So I'm sitting in the fucking ER. I finally get banded. They're doing all my vitals and shit. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck. I also have no insurance. This is going to suck. So I was like, yo, fuck this. I could take care of myself, right? So I just literally get up and walk out the ER. I didn't say nothing to anybody. I just walked out that bitch. And I go home, and my girl at the time, we was talking, I'm like, man, I just can't breathe. And I would literally left there, and I went and bought a dehumidifier, an air purifier, like a whole bunch of shit, right? I'm like, no, I'm going to teach myself how to breathe. And then my girl at the time was like, yo, like, have you ever tried yoga? Like, it's supposed to be about, like, breathing and shit. And I was just like, desperate, honestly. And I was like, well, you know what? I remember reading about yoga when I was taking classes in holistic wellness and shit. And I was like, fuck it. I'll try it. So I literally jumped on fucking, Google at the time, and I was just like, yo, is there any like yoga classes around here? I didn't really find anything. So I jumped on YouTube, and I don't remember who I was watching, but I was watching a bunch of shit. I was like, yo, this sucks. Like this shit is mad boring, bro. Like the vibe sucked. I just wasn't feeling any of it. So I kept doing the shit, you know what I mean? And like I was doing music at the time, but I kept doing this yoga shit. And I started to feel like changes in myself. And, you know, we always think about like flexibility when we think about yoga. But for me at the time, the biggest change that I noticed for myself was that, bro, like my awareness shifted, man. And being a Pisces, you know, a lot of times you're very dream world. You're very, life is beautiful. And fucking shit, bro. I started to get like a lot more awareness, you know, and I was just like, yo, like I'm fucking up. You know what I'm saying? Like just, it really, because of that focus of the breath of something that's very uncontrolled. Like you've been breathing since you, like doctor smacked you or however the fuck you were born, breathing, whatever. You've been breathing your entire life. You've rarely had to be like, it's not until you can't breathe that you realize, yo, I can't breathe. You know what I'm saying? You just take that shit for granted. You know, there's not a lot of practices. Well, as I got into yoga, I realized all practices rely on breath, right? Martial arts, boxing, weightlifting. You know what I'm saying? Like everything pretty much goes to the breath. We was talking about basketball. You at your free throw line, you gotta whap. You know what I'm saying? Swimming. Long distance running. Kind of creating your pace. Everything revolves around breath control and practice, but nobody emphasizes it besides yoga. So you look at dance as a flexibility teacher, gymnastics, just stretch and flexibility now has grown as its own subculture. Nobody emphasizes the actual breathing, which can make or break your flexibility at a certain point, because your breath also controls your autonomic nervous system, right? Like if I'm breathing like that shit will make your fucking nervous system be like automatically in a fight or flight. But if I can and slow down my breath, my body's like, I'm safe. So like people always be like, do you like getting tattooed? That shit's gotta hurt. I'd be like, I fucking hate it. I do not like getting tattooed. But I didn't realize that that's also a practice in breathing, because when you're getting tattooed, it just sucks. They're fucking stabbing you and scraping you, but you just got to sit there and be like, you're taking this pain literally and have to be like, it's cool, man. But if you're there like, oh my God, this sucks, it makes the fucking experience 1,000 times worse. And it makes 5 minutes turn into like 50 minutes.
Yeah, tattoos, they hurt. They definitely hurt.
Bro, I just had a conversation with my friend that's tatted the fuck. And we're like, yo, if you woke up tomorrow and all your tattoos were gone, would you get tatted again? And we're like, nah. No. Like, this shit sucks. Like, the amount of hours I've sat, like, and when you're tatted, like, you don't think about it. Like, you forget that you're tatted. You don't think that everybody else is not like that. You know what I'm saying? You'd be like, oh, yeah, you tatted. Like, my son's perception of like tattoos and shit is going to be completely different than like kids whose parents aren't tatted. They're like, oh yeah, my daddy's got his fucking face tatted. Like, that's normal. You know what I'm saying?
My parents did not have any.
Oh, my mom neither, bro.
Yeah, none
like
of that.
My mom used to tell me 3 things I never want you to do: get tattoos, get earrings, or ride motorcycles. 2 strikes in, bro.
And how old are you when you got your first tattoo?
18 years old, bro. The very first job I ever worked, the very first check I ever got, I spent on a tattoo.
And where is the first tattoo? Where is it?
Right here, bro. This fucking crown that says champ. And I so look. Champ stands for Christ hears all my prayers. And I got that shit because I knew my mom was religious as fuck. And I was like, you know what? Like, maybe I can make it religious and be like, yeah, like Christ hears all my prayers. So like, it's like, and that was like the era of WWJD. Like, what would Jesus do?
With other bands.
When like Iverson wore that shit, right? Mm-hmm. So a pop culture icon with tattoos wore that shit and everybody's on it. So I was like, yo, I got one. Champ. Christ hears all my prayers. Now I say consciousness or universe hears all my prayers, but same shit. But yeah, I also blame my mother for why I got tatted. Because like I remember she was studying for her master's and we had to go to this like big ass library. My mother was also a librarian for a time. So I grew up in libraries. You know what I mean? I was like always in books and magazines and shit. And like she would just let me go and explore this big ass library. It's like a college library. And I never forget, bro. They had a fucking exhibit on the Yakuza. And for people who don't know who the Yakuza are, they're the Japanese mafia, but they're also like the Japanese major businessmen. So you look at them and they're fucking wearing suits, fly as fuck, cut to the fucking ankles and wrists. They take that fucking suit off and they're tatted, like their entire shit. But it stops, so you never know because they always wear suits in public. They're not like wearing shorts and shit, right? So you see these guys, you're like, oh, these are the fucking businessmen. Top tier, but they're all like tatted from their fucking, like right where all the shit's covered. My bad, I'm knocking the shit everywhere. I'm excited about it because I love that shit. But like their whole back, whole legs, like their ass is tatted, everything. Like they'll be in these little like man thong things and their entire body is tatted.
Yeah, I've seen it mostly in movies.
Yeah,
in like TV shows
that's
or
real
anything like
shit.
that. But yeah, like seeing all of that, all tatted. But you wouldn't even guess that they had it at all whatsoever.
You would never know. It'd be old men. It'd be these cats like 80 years old that are completely tatted from their ankles to the fucking neck, the collarbone, really. And it's so fucking cool. And I saw that shit as a kid and I was like, yo, I want to be like that one day. You know, I just saw that shit. I was like, yo, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. I remember one dude was so tatted, bro. I'll never forget this tattoo. This shit really stuck out. This motherfucker had a tree, like the tree of life on his chest and a snake wrapped around it. And you'll never believe that the snake ended on his fucking dick, bro. His dick was tatted into a snake, bro. And it was fucking pierced. And I'm like 10 years old at the time, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, this is fucking different. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, I don't know about that. But the rest of it, I'm fucking with.
I also wonder if it did actually work for him. Like, I wonder if women would actually like that if they saw it.
I feel like it'd probably be like, whoa, this guy's got a fucking snake dick. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you might, if like he whipped out, like, I feel like they're more potential, and it's pierced, they're probably more potential to give you some pussy because they're like, oh, I wonder what that feels like. When's the next time I'm going to meet a guy whose dick is pierced?
Man, well, yeah, that is definitely memorable for sure.
Ladies, if y'all met a dude with a dick pierced, y'all wasn't really gonna fuck, but you seen his dick was pierced, would you probably fuck? Because they'd be like, let me just see. It's like, can we get some consensus over here? What y'all think?
If the audio picks it up, let's see.
It's okay. We can get some head nods. No, you wouldn't fuck? It's a maybe. What if he was cute and had some money? Took y'all out, got y'all a little turned up? No? What if it's all right, never mind. We're just going to stop here.